Joel, you sound great. We're rolling. What's tonight's show sponsored by?
Welcome to the Trying to Be Better with Joel and Steve podcast. Tonight we are sponsored by Millstream Old Time Root Beer from the Amana colonies in Iowa. My mother-in-law brought me back some root beer, and this is really, really good root beer.
It sounds good.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to the podcast. How are you, Steve?
Podcast. You know what, man? I'm good. I just came in. I just came barreling down the stairs because we had a potential chicken situation. Well, I saw one of them was up on the porch, so I went out to say hi, and that was Peggy, and Peggy wanted to chat, so we're talking, and I noticed, like, where's the other one? Where's Bertha? And Bertha was just kind of underneath the coop, just kind of sitting there, and her tail was kind of droopy. And I'm like, that's weird, because normally Bertha's like, what? Gimme, where?
Yeah.
And she's all over it. And so we couldn't like coax her out, which was kind of weird and somewhat disconcerting, because that's what happened to Paprika this winter, and she didn't make it. So that raised, the alarm bells. So we kind of flushed her out, and then we started feeding her some blueberries, and that perked her right up. So I hopefully try, but like, don't ever Google medical symptoms, even for chickens.
Even for chickens, it's still a rabbit hole you don't want to go down.
Bad. I mean, if you're doing it for people, if you do it long enough, sooner or later, you're going to come to tumors. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. That's where all roads lead to tumors with the WebMD.
All roads lead to tumors. And,
well, dude, I'm sorry to giggle, but we had a chicken situation.
We did. It was legit, man. I mean, I'm like kind of getting ready to put them away and come down, and I'm like, wait a minute, something's wrong. So, alarm bells were going off, and, but I think everything's fine. So, I think everybody, if you're wondering, I think Bertha's fine, but we'll keep you posted.
Here's to Bertha. May
she keep coming around.
May she keep coming around all the time.
All the time. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we just fired this up. We don't have a guest tonight. The guest is each other.
Yeah. Right.
Tonight on the podcast.
That is.
But
I got a really nice note from a mutual friend of ours, Amy.
Oh, nice.
We saw last weekend, and she started at the beginning, and she's like, She just said, yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, I should probably, like, I'm not sure what we talked about then. I know it was kind of, there was a lot happening.
A lot going on.
There was a lot. Was 6 months ago. That's a lot happened since then.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. Can you believe we've been doing this 6 months continuously?
I can, because I actually, filled out this every summer. Faculty, Amy, thank you for the nice note. We love you.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks for starting all the way back at the beginning. You get the
hardcore
journey. It's been what a long, strange trip it's been.
Right. I'm kind of excited and terrified.
Yeah, right.
Amy, you'll have to let us know. Because I know you shoot straight. We've known each other a long time, and feel free to please honest comments and criticism would be wonderful.
Give us honest feedback. I can't believe we've been doing it this long, because every summer, faculty at the university I teach at have to fill out professional activity summaries. And I was listing, like, stuff I'd done scholarship wise or teaching wise and all this stuff. And I'm like, this podcast is a really fun, way to diversify my portfolio a little bit. And so I put it in there, and I was just putting stats up, and I'm like, man, like, we have in the 6 months we've been doing it, we've had over 2,500 downloads. And I was trying to count states, and I had to count states that we weren't downloaded in, and that's only about 10.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, we have consistent listenership in Australia.
I know, it's wild.
And Canada and India
and California, which I think is kind of cool, just because
wild. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, some of those could be my people from when I lived there, but there could be people that aren't.
So for all you rando listeners out there, thank you.
Yeah, if you're that's a great thing to bring up. If you're a random listener that you've never met either of us,
right?
Send us an email.
Yeah, drop us a line for real.
Yeah, I want to know.
Tell us who you are and where you are, because we'd love to hear it.
It's wild that people that don't feel any obligation to listen to a scammer actually just elect to do that.
Right. What the hell is wrong with you?
We want to know what's wrong with you. We want to reach out and make sure that you're okay.
Right. It's that whole, Groucho Marx thing. I wouldn't want to be a part of any club that'd have somebody like me for a member thing.
Exactly.
We love you.
So, we love you. Thank you. Yeah, if you're a rando, please email, even if it's just like 2 lines to just say where you found us and what you dig about it. Like,
and you would do that at ttbbpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, please. Or find us on Instagram at Trying to Be Better Podcast.
Maybe one of these days we could get our own domain.
Oh man, we should do it.
We should do that. Just for the hell of it.
My Venmo is Joel dash. Damn it, I fucked it up. Joel dash Egger. Send me $10. We'll get a website.
There you go.
Because that can't be that expensive.
No, it's not actually.
We could probably we are both gainfully employed. We could do this.
We're gainfully employed. Could probably swing the domain fee.
Yeah, we should.
But seriously, we do need a new mixing board. If we get complaints about like the audio quality of this, because it is kind of because we're doing it over Zoom, but we got big plans.
Big plans.
We have big plans, but we could use a new mixing board. So
we get big touring plans. But we really couldn't do that without the mixer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we need a little equipment.
All right. Yep. Okay. Well, if anybody's wants to help us out,
sure.
This root beer is intense.
I'm just drinking LaCroix. It's pretty good.
What do you got? Limoncello? What is that?
It is the limoncello, yeah.
Oh, speaking of LaCroix.
Oh, boy.
My wife, Kirsten, former guest on this podcast. And
returning champion,
amazing person. She won like 3 cases of LaCroix from Instagram, and they arrived in like this super sweet package. Like,
wait, she won LaCroix from Instagram?
Yeah, she commented on some giveaway they had, and they sent her all these new flavors.
It was actually Instagram. It wasn't like a vendor on Instagram.
No. It was LaCroix on Instagram, official.
Oh, so it was LaCroix's Instagram page.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Got it.
Well, yeah.
Well, good for her and you.
Yeah, free LaCroix.
Sure, why not? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude.
Well, you guys are the people that turned me on to that stuff.
Oh, we're responsible for that?
You're responsible for that, for starting that whole thing. Yeah. As far as I know, for me, yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, I remember my parents had it. My dad had it here and there. I think he just kept it around for mixer.
Wait, I thought LaCroix was a fairly new phenomenon.
It's not. LaCroix's been around a while.
Oh,
they didn't really have all the trendy flavors until recently.
What did they have? Just the one that my daughter said the first time she tried it. She took a sip. She goes, "This tastes like a rainy day."
Is that a good thing or not?
No, it was not. She was like,
"This tastes like sad."
It was because she was expecting like pop,
Oh yeah, no,
I'm like
no, it's not pop. Yeah, though that's the exact experience I had. Maybe I think it was LaCroix, but it was just could have been just seltzer water or whatever. But
right,
I just thought it was the most horrible thing you could ever drink, and now
right.
So LaCroix, if you're out there, we'd love to have you sponsor us as well.
Absolutely,
because Daddy needs a new mixing board.
Daddy needs a new mixing board. Oh God. So I'm all excited because got tickets to go see Wilco today.
Oh my God. Kirsten's checking the calendar. We may be crashing that party.
Come on.
I've never seen Wilco.
I haven't either.
Wilco.
Why did we not go see them at Pinewood Bowl? They were here like 2 years ago. What the hell happened there?
We're idiots. And
yeah,
they played a couple years ago. They played the Holland Center in Omaha.
Yeah. Why do we not go to that?
Because we're idiots. It was either the Holland Center or the Orpheum, one of the two.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't rabidly jump all over that.
And Kirsten today, I was like asking her, I'm like, hey, you want to go to Wilco? She's like, I'll check the calendar, but I thought you didn't want to. I thought you didn't like Wilco. I'm like, what? Like, where did you get? She's like, well, you couldn't go to that one time. And I'm like, I know it's stupid, but it's probably work related. Like,
right. I'm assuming that's why I didn't go, or either that, or if it was like the Holland Center, it was probably expensive.
Right. Well, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, that album blew my mind. And AM is super good too. But I like some of the
what was the band before Wilco? Tupelo,
Uncle Tupelo.
Yeah.
I've got an Uncle Tupelo cassette tape right behind me. Anodyne.
Yeah, I saw that. I had no idea they existed. I was watching with my buddy Dylan. We were watching the simulcast of 1998's Farm Aid.
Oh wow.
And they were kind of, they were they were like the opening act, you
Mhm.
know, really like a 4-piece band, maybe 5-piece.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell in love with them during California Stars.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this is like
Yep.
the best song.
Yeah. Yep.
And they've just, you know, that was 23 years ago, and they just keep writing. And Jeff Tweedy, I mean, his songwriting is just,
He's
sometimes
so
I almost can't listen to it because it's just too good. It's too emotional, and I just need to listen to Big Dumb Rock for a minute.
yeah. I when I want to get, I don't know, the album A Ghost Is Born was really, really,
You know, I don't know that album.
dude. That is some psychedelic. I mean,
Mhm.
to think about the trajectory from Uncle Tupelo
Mhm.
to Wilco. I mean,
Mhm.
I actually got into the other band that split off from Uncle Tupelo. I got into Sun Volt in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
I didn't really listen to Wilco in the 90s. I listened.
You were a Sun Volt guy,
I was a Sun Volt guy, not by any choice. I just really didn't get into. It wasn't in my orbit.
right?
Wilco, or I'm sorry, Sun Volt's album Trace. I bought that album at, I don't know, a Carney CD store whenever it came out
Mhm.
in the 90s, solely based on the album cover. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. It looks interesting. I didn't know what I was.
Well, you're gonna have
getting
to put that on the playlist then, because I've never heard it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I will definitely put some Sun Volt on there. It is incredible.
Okay.
And so later on, when I was hanging out with hipper people that like knew a thing or two, they were turning me on to Wilco, and that was right at the time of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, and then A Ghost Is Born. And A Ghost Is Born, in my opinion, is like their, I don't know, OK Computer, or their, I mean, some people say Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is, but I would say A Ghost Is Born is kind of their most psychedelic out there. And that shit blew my mind.
Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, is that the first album with Nels Klein on guitar?
I don't know,
because he like when they
my
brought,
limited understanding of their band members is Jeff Tweedy.
Like the Wilco that I was introduced to was a pretty straightforward musical outfit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
And then
like
they brought
their first album, like AM, like is pretty down the middle, kind of alt country. Yeah.
But then they brought in Nels Klein, and the everything just his musical landscape, whatever you want to say. He's he's just an amazing musician, guitar player guy, and can play anything. And he just kind of cracked Jeff Tweedy wide open.
Nice. Yeah.
That's my, like, I'm a Wilco fan, but I'm not a Wilco scholar by any stretch, you know.
Right.
But I remember when they brought Nels Klein on, and that was like, ooh, this is going to get interesting.
Yeah.
And it has.
It has. Yeah. Handshake Drugs is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Trying to Break Your Heart at the beginning of Yankee Hotel Foxtrot is this sort of dissonant, just a psychedelic romp. I love it.
Yeah,
I'm excited, man.
I'm kind of curious. Like, I don't know what to expect with them live. Is it going to be like a sit down, polite applause kind of thing, or is there going to be a chance to boogie?
I think they're going to rock.
I hope they're
going to rock and roll,
because like I'm ready to rock and roll. You know.
Yeah, I think they're going to rock and roll. I mean, I don't know what the album after A Ghost Is Born. Good Lord, I can't remember the name of it, but I haven't really kept up with them. They made an album, I don't know, a few years ago called Star Wars. I haven't heard that. It's super good.
Okay, hold on. I gotta let the dog in.
All right, let the dog in. But I really, really, really liked it. I didn't really stick with it though. There was a lot going on. There's, I think my brain only had so much room.
Sure, but, I get that.
I think I'll buy a ticket and take the ride. Hopefully Kirsten can go too, and then I'll play catch up on their. Well,
I just want you to know that this is like Holly and I's big date.
And are we crashing your date?
Well, we're yeah.
Sweet.
Exactly. Okay, fine.
Sweet.
You're not coming back to you're not coming back to the hotel with us. That's all I'm saying.
No, please. No, we're not doing that. We're not ready for that yet. But Slater Kinney is opening for that.
Isn't that a trip?
That's a trip. That's gonna rock. Well, here's the thing: if Slater Kinney's gonna open, Wilco better bring the heat.
Right.
You know what I mean? They couldn't, they're going to slow it down because they have.
Well, here's the thing: is I'm a total noob when it comes to Slater Kinney. I've heard the name for years, and Carrie Brownstein I know from Portlandia and her Fred Armisen, all of that. Wow. I don't know her as a musician, so I'm really looking forward to that.
They know how to fucking rock.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I kind of figured,
Yeah,
from given
they're
they're
great.
from and all that,
Mhm,
and they're all on the Seattle grunge tip.
Portland.
Portland. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I
But
just
they're
wanted to
kinda
say.
punky.
I just wanted to say on the grunge tip because swingers.
Oh, right.
I just wanted to say that.
Well, concerts though.
That all the kids are into these days. The Seattle.
Well, we got. I mean,
Seattle scene.
the fact that we're talking about, I'm going to go see that show. I mean,
Isn't that amazing?
Last week we mentioned. I mean, and since last week, the deluge of
Mhm.
concert dates.
It's like a fire hose.
It's been
insane.
honestly too much for me. I mentioned this on a phone conversation with you earlier. It's been honestly too much for me to take in. Because I'm like, Dead and Company, Fish.
You had too much too fast.
Maybe I did have too much too fast, man. Because like,
don't overplay
festivals, J-Rad.
Yeah. Oh, good lord.
All this stuff,
man. I want to see J-Rad so bad.
They're touring, my friend. And Fish. Here's the thing.
They're sold out. They're sold out.
But I think there's got to be a way I can get a ticket.
A way.
That's what I'm saying. I've never seen them.
I would love to go see Fish at Harvey's in Lake Tahoe just because it'd be kind of coming full circle for me.
Yeah, dude.
I used to work there. Right. I mean, that would be.
They're doing like 2 nights there. I saw.
I know they're very sold out, and those will be a hot ticket because it's not a very big venue. It's like in the parking lot of Harvey's. They put up some bleachers.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah. If you look at the pictures of it, like, oh yeah, those are bleachers. They're kinda big
like
bleachers,
but almost.
More like kind of like a smaller version of that Northerly Island venue in Chicago.
Yep.
With like a pop-up amphitheater kind of deal.
All right.
Yeah. But anyway, and the Dick's Sporting Goods thing, that's all sold out.
But I just, it's been too much to take in. I mean, Pearl Jam hasn't announced yet, but I feel that's going to happen. I have a ticket that whenever they reschedule.
Oh, really?
It could be, the following year. It could be the spring of next year.
That'd almost be nice, actually.
I'd be all right with that.
Just let things calm down for a minute and kind of settle and let some venues open back up.
I don't care what's going on that day. I'm going to be
You're going?
that show. Yeah. Whenever
Good for you.
So it got me thinking because we had put this in our Google Doc of potential topics a while ago.
6 months ago.
Like now that all these concerts are kind of opening up and we're, like a kid in a candy store again, ready to drain our savings accounts.
Right.
What's some of the most influential or most memorable or I don't know, top concert? I was trying to make a list. What are some of your top concerts and stories that are?
Well, I mean, how much time do we have?
Well, we have until we're done, I guess.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe, and we've talked about our Grateful Dead experience. I mean, you have Grateful Dead shows that
we've already
probably haven't talked about, but
well, that's very true. Each one of them has stories, some of which I can actually remember.
Exactly. But I mean, I listed some that we haven't even brought up, and maybe some that folks might be surprised that I'd been to.
Well, I think I was kind of thinking about that too, and like I don't know, man. I mean, there's kind of snippets. I mean, a lot of it's kind of ancient history, but they were very formative.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, so here's something that you may not know or that will probably surprise you. I would say the overall, like, most. I mean, there's so many categories, like the one that I just had the most fun at that was like easiest and lightest and just like,
go there. Let's hear that.
Was just so much fun, I think recently, actually, that would be Paul Simon at Pinewood Bowl.
Oh my God.
That was amazing.
That was like, he was able to kind of control that vibe, you know, I mean, his music doesn't hurt, but it was,
when he walked out on stage, I kind of forgot how just like diminutive he is.
Yeah.
And he's really old and his guitar was, almost as big as he was. And he looked kind of like Gollum, just because he looked old. And I just, when he walked out on stage, I thought, how is this going to go? Yeah. And then he started playing and the band fired up and he was dancing. I was like, no, that's how it's going to go. It's Paul Simon.
Yeah, dude.
And he just killed it all night long. He was,
and it was such a nice night, and it was the vibe was great, man.
Vibe was great, and the songs were awesome, and his band was amazing. And Pinewood Bowl is such a nice venue.
It really is.
It really is. And it gets better every year as they, put money into it. It's
Yep.
like somebody finally in the city of Lincoln hierarchy went, I bet if we open up alcohol sales in city parks, we could probably get some money generated.
It was Sweetums on the city council.
It was that moment like, we got this facility sitting out there doing really nothing but that one play a year. Seems like maybe we could bring in some of them rock concerts or something,
Maybe people might come to it and maybe it might be, make some money.
And lo and behold, because once you're inside the venue, Pinewood Bowl is as nice a place as you can be. It's not really quite maybe as visually stunning as like the Starlight Theater in Kansas City.
Right. Or Red Rocks.
Well, Red Rocks is kind of its own thing, but I mean, it's a power spot. It's amazing. But on the flip side,
it's similar to Starlight. I have a similar vibe there.
It's a similar vibe.
Starlight's bigger.
Starlight is bigger and it's more intricate, like the staging and the proscenium and all that is really pretty. Whereas Pinewood Bowl is a big concrete slab with trees around it.
That's true.
But when the stage lights come up and you're surrounded by all those beautiful pine trees, I mean, you might as well be in the mountains of Colorado. You can be anywhere. It's amazing.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it there. We've seen a lot of shows there. Like another show that was significant that I saw at Pinewood was My Morning Jacket.
They were amazing. They tore through the space-time continuum like 5 times.
Yeah. Jim James is a wizard.
I love that guy.
He is
the velvet, the flying V and the velvet,
the velvet cape.
Yeah, the velvet cape and the drummer and like that. That was one of the most amazing concerts.
And I'd been listening to a lot of My Morning Jacket, but I was kind of nervous that they weren't going to be able to kind of pull off that studio.
How'd that work out?
Dude, I think you tried to race out you left early. Kirsten had to work.
I bailed after that frigging brutal meltdown that landed into this bizarro world cover of Rocket Man.
Oh yeah.
And that was just beautiful and sad and weird and amazing. And I'm like, nothing's going to top that. And I got to go, I was fine. I was drained and that was it was amazing.
I was in a total trance. Kirsten had to leave early because she had to work early the next day, or she had been up since 6 or something. And so
that was my deal. I had to I couldn't get stuck in the parking lot. I had to get the hell out of there.
I stayed and I was kind of by myself for the last few songs. I mean, the set was almost over and I stayed for the encore and I was blown away. I was a fan for life after that.
Yeah. I got so much respect for them. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. So
you know me, like now that for those of you that don't know where we are, we're not exactly in a place where you get lots of My Morning Jacket playing Lincoln, Nebraska is a big friggin' deal.
It's huge.
It's huge because normally we would have to drive at least to Kansas City, which is 3 hours, or Denver or Chicago, which is 7 hours to see those shows.
But since Pinewood has started booking big acts, we haven't really had to do that. 2
things have happened. One, Pinnacle Bank Arena.
That's true. Yep.
Yes. For those of you that don't know our fair community, if you would have told me that 10 years ago that Paul McCartney would play in Lincoln, Nebraska, I would have just laughed and walked away. Right, whatever. That happened because we built this friggin' arena. Right. And it was kind of the way that thing went down, I wasn't a really big fan of.
Same.
But it's there. And a lot, you may not care that Fleetwood Mac has played here. You may not care that the Eagles have played here. Frankly, I don't care that they've played here, but except for the fact that has a ripple effect through the community.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so that I believe is partly what precipitated, because they started looking like, holy crap, we can get those acts, and there's a lot of money in those. And there's a lot of money in that rock and roll. And I thought, so that I believe is, this is just my opinion, but the timeline jibes. Yep. That shortly after all these A-list acts start rolling through, the $200 and $300 ticket acts, big acts start rolling through Lincoln. All of a sudden, Pinewood Bowl is selling booze in the city park.
Yep.
And so they're starting to book also A-list acts.
Yeah. Well, we saw Bob Dylan there. We saw Mumford and Sons. We've seen. I saw Ray LaMontagne there.
And let's not forget them Ween boys.
Oh my God. They tore the roof off that place.
Yeah, they almost did. Yeah.
They almost did.
Yeah, that was kind of a short concert by Ween standards, but it was still pretty good. It
wasn't they can't do the 4-hour Coke binge they used to do. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, they might have actually been cognizant of where they were.
For once.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I'm getting them confused. Oh, I'm a bad Ween fan.
Uh-oh.
Jeaner. No,
Diener.
Which one's sober?
Gene,
thank you.
Yeah.
God. Casey,
Aaron
I'm
Freeman.
Sorry. Yeah, Aaron Freeman. Yeah.
Aaron Freeman.
I was trying not to go with the real name. But whatever.
Oops.
I don't care. I was trying to be a good Ween fan. I was trying to, be cool, and I failed as usual. But I got to see, so that was a thing because I saw Ween kind of during in 2000, and they were very much not attempting to be sober or anything. I mean, it was but that was amazing.
Yeah.
That Ween in Lawrence, Kansas in November 2000 was to date the most brutal concert experience that I've ever enjoyed. Right?
Yeah.
After 2 hours of that, all I wanted was a place to sit down in a glass of ice water. And they played for 2 more hours.
Oh my God.
And I could not, I mean, I was devastated in the best possible way. I mean, it was 4 hours later and they're busting out Blarney Stone.
Oh my God.
And Tick. And like, I was just like, it was amazing. Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there was a point there, but
you're wrecked.
Ween, wrecked, 100% wrecked. Yeah. And by them Ween boys. I mean, it was unbelievable.
But the Pinewood Bowl, it's not suitable for that kind of.
It really it's kind of weird. It's like at the Granada Theater in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I even noted that Mickey made he was almost like the first few songs, like, we're here to take you on a trip. Like, yeah, dude, we know. Oh, I get it. You're pandering to the locals.
Yeah.
You think don't know what you're really about. Like, I get it, dude. Just play
yeah.
You're asking me if I'm, about the dwarf inside. Like, dude, we get it.
We get it, man.
Yeah. I mean,
give me on the rocket ship.
I'm sure that there's probably, I would guesstimate, half of that crowd had never seen Ween before and was just there to go see the rock thing in town, Right.
Yeah. Or they heard the one Ween song that's, was on MTV, or Ocean Man that was on the SpongeBob movie soundtrack.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so a lot of good times at Pinewood.
Yeah. Kind of like Amazingly So. I saw the Allman Brothers there in 1995, which was this weird anomaly that year. They had, maybe it was 94 that Jackson Browne played. Then 95 they had Rusted Root and the Allman Brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was great.
That'd be great.
It was great. And it was Warren Haynes and Dickie Betts, Allman Brothers.
Yeah, right.
And they blew the roof off the dump. I mean, it was fantastic. It was kind of towards the end of my using, so I was in pretty hard shape.
Right.
But yeah, it was awesome. I have a tape cassette of that around here somewhere, unless I gave it to Thurston. But
what's this? I'm totally shifting gears hard on you.
No,
sorry.
go.
What's a surprise show that stuck with you?
You mean one that I wasn't expecting to like enjoy or to get a lot?
Yeah, let's go there. I was going to
to
say either that or one that you didn't think we would. Well, you kind of did that with Paul Simon. So what's one that?
Well, no, I had high expectations for Paul Simon. I just didn't like, they were so incredibly surpassed, and I didn't realize how much I was just going to literally delight in that evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one that our listeners might be shocked that you love?
Okay, so I talked about like the most fun one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen since 1990 round numbers 100 plus Grateful Dead concerts and related. Right. I saw Jerry Garcia play in person 50 times between 1990 and 95.
Right.
That's a novel in and of itself.
Yeah.
So totally. Excluding that, the single most like, and Wheaton was brutal and awesome and weird, but like the most, I'm going to use the phrase heavy fun that I've ever had was I saw George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars at the Berkeley Community Theater in Berkeley, California on Halloween of 1993.
Oh shit.
And it was,
and you got on the spaceship.
The mothership landed and took us for a ride. And we got probed for 4 hours.
Yeah. Yes.
And we got flung around, and we did. And here's the thing about that is they opened with, the band was huge.
Yeah.
And this rotating cast, they didn't stop playing.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just kept going. But
right.
people would come in and coming out, and George was the master of ceremonies with the full rainbow headdress and all that, you know,
For sure. Oh, yeah.
And the band comes out and they're kind of doing, it's kind of like the throwback to like the James Brown soul thing, where like the band will come out and play.
Yeah.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the James Brown. He comes out with the kid, and they kind of do that, only even more longer and more grandiose with George Clinton. At least they did that night. And so they're kind of warming up, and let's just say that I don't know how to put this. Well, I ingested some psychedelics.
Sure.
And we, like, me and my buddy Johnny
Johnny Eagle Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Eagle Johnny. Yep. Nice. We had been listening to some P-Funk, so like we were down, you know.
Right.
We were down with the funk.
Make my check to P-Funk.
Yeah. And so we were really excited to be there, and the band came out and it sounded good. Oh, it sounded good. The drummer was this older guy with this really simple drum kit, but it was like if John Bonham was playing funk.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
I mean, just the drum, his whole kit was shaking.
Yeah.
And then the more guitars and more horns, and it just kept opening up and opening up. And then George came out and he started doing the oh God, one of the big songs, the one like make my funk the P-Funk. Who wants to get that thing? And we were kind of like, yeah, you know, cool. We're here for the P-Funk. We're down with the P-Funk. Sure. George is here. We're here. Let's funk, you know. But it wasn't. We were kind of like, all right, this sounds good. This will be fine.
Yeah, this will be fun.
And then like 3 hours later, they came circling back around. It was like watching a 747 on fire that was also a spaceship that was going to come in and land on your childhood. And to this insane funk. I mean, we had been spinning and dancing. We were drenched in sweat, in sweat. And then George comes back around, and this time he looks right at us and says, what you want?
Oh my God.
We want the funk. I mean, and we were just hair and sweat and sex and just not with each other, but you know, I mean, like, it was in fact, this dude, it was so funny. It was probably like an hour into it. And by this time we were on the ship, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, we were fully engaged, and this dude, this real slick dude comes in with these two slick chicks. Right. And they were obviously just coked up. The energy coming off of them was just pure coke blow. Right. And he was like trying to look cool, you know, got my women here, got my all coked up, we're good, you know. And we're like, yo, you are so completely clueless as to what's actually happening here right now, man. You know, and we were just vibing him so hard, like, dude, get your aura out of here. It's awful, you know. And his response to that was get out this little tiny joint, this little pinner joint.
A little pinner. Yep.
Yeah. And he's like, and it was when they're like, yeah, we'll smoke your joint. Fuck you, hippie. You know, they lasted about 20 minutes and they were gone. And we were like, boom! Bye. It wasn't our kindest moment, but it did not matter because their energy was just so
it was the wrong vibe, man.
There's a P-Funk character whose name is escaping me now, was for the whatever. Anyway, they were like just this massive buzzkill and just ego trip, like So anyway, that was like to date. Yeah. George Clinton, P-Funk All-Stars killed everything that night. It was amazing.
Okay. I don't have a coked up story like that, but I have mine that that blew me away and put me on track to see this band, this artist, like 6 more times. So Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals, Kansas City Uptown Theater 2000. Yeah. So I had heard the song Faded, I had thought it was, and I heard the song Burn
I
One
don't
Down.
know that song.
Yeah, Faded. You should listen to it. It's
Okay.
a great little blues riff. He plays it
Uh-huh.
on his lap Weizenborn guitar or whatever. It's, and then he had Burn One Down, which is kind of like,
That I know.
one we smoke pot to, whatever.
Sure.
And I'd kind of listen to it here and there with my friend Jeremy, and I was kind of into it, but like, eh. So we pile in the car with my girlfriend at the time and a couple of her roommate and maybe somebody else. And we drive down to Kansas City. We have tickets. I'm like, okay. And I think she's seen them before. My girlfriend had seen them before and was really like, you don't know what you're about to get into. and that was, I was high, sure, but I was just transfixed at the sounds coming out of his guitar.
Oh, wow.
It was, I felt
I understand that.
I was blown. I felt like I was it felt like maybe, when people went to go see Jimi Hendrix and he was making all these very strange sounds.
Yeah.
I had never heard a guitar like that before. And he would, I'd heard some of his music, but they're 4 minutes tops on the album.
Yeah.
He would play these jams for like 10, 12, 15 minutes. And it was like, it was pure, unadulterated, energetic rock and roll blues being just psychedelically jammed into my face for
Love
3
it.
hours.
Uh-huh.
And then after he had pretty much, tore our minds open for 2.5 hours or whatever, for the encore, he comes out and gets the entire Uptown Theater to be completely silent.
Oh,
and he takes the microphone away from him, and the acoustics of that place are incredible. It's an old opera house.
Yeah. I've been there.
And he sings Like a King, I'll Rise, with completely a cappella.
Yeah.
And fills the room with his voice, and then waves and leaves. And we're all just like, I had never seen anything remotely like that. So I went and saw that dude. Yeah. 5, 6
I would go
times.
to that show.
Dude, I saw him on the beach in Santa Barbara with Kirsten. I saw him open up for
far
Dave Matthews Band in 2000 again with, in 2000 with, open up for Dave Matthews Band. I saw him randomly at Harrah's or at Stir Cove a couple years ago.
I should have gone to that.
Dude, he is insanely good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that one.
Ben Harper.
Yeah, Ben. If you ever get a chance to see Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals, do it.
Okay, so here's a subject or a shift. In 1995, I went and saw Fugazi at the State Fairgrounds here.
Yes.
And it was right after Garcia had passed fairly recently. And it was kind of funny. Like, I remember Fugazi was amazing. They were incredible. And there was quite a few people there. I mean, it's at least 1,000. It was in like the Ag Hall or something,
Yeah, right.
And it was exactly what I needed. I was still, it was again kind of towards the end of my using, and so I was kind of hurting, but they lit me on fire.
Yeah.
And I thrashed and danced with an abandon that what it reminded me of, and there's gonna be a lot of eye rolling happening. What it reminded me of would have been what it would like to have seen the Grateful Dead in like 67 or 68.
Right.
Dual drums and just raw energy.
Yeah.
This is pre, mellow acoustic Working Man's Dead. This was like the beast, the machine eating beast. And so I really grokked on that,
Yeah.
And that was a seminal event for me. Like, that was I needed that what do you call like a palate cleanser. Just to, like, it was a good reset.
Yeah. It's a good slap in the face.
Yeah, it was exactly what it was.
I made a little list just to try to keep my mind focused on things, and I have a Fugazi show made my list, but it was, and I had to check the dates on this.
Was it at the Student Union?
It was at the Student Union, the ballroom in the Student Union at UNL campus.
I was there.
April 17th, 2001. And why that date is, I went and looked up that specific date. Little Joel was 2 days sober.
Whoa, my man. That was a lot.
It was a Tuesday, and I hadn't had a drink since Saturday night, and that was to be my last drink.
Good Lord.
And I went to a meeting. I went to 2 meetings, or maybe 3 in that time.
Wow.
And this dude that was like, he was an entomology major at UNL, was going, and he's like, "Hey, well, you need something to do. I mean, I'm going to go see Fugazi." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so
Right.
it was very like, it was a lot. It was a lot for me,
It was a lot,
but it was really, really good because I kind of like heard them for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I had tried to like them. I had tried to like Minor Threat. I had tried to like some punk rock and roll like that. And it was more about how you looked and being cool than really getting. And I was like so open and so raw.
I bet they smacked you around a little bit.
Well, you know who really smacked me around that stuck with me was the local band that opened for Fugazi, which is Her Flyaway Manor.
I remember that.
They set the tone.
Yeah, they were pretty intense.
Yeah, they were great. They were great. And I'd seen them a few more times after that, but that show, I mean,
So was in my memory, there was a third band too that played before Her Flyaway Manor.
It could have been. Wrong. Yeah.
Because my deal with that night was I had gone out with this girl a couple times, and it was like, this may not be working, but this was so she was like a country girl. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, so just like, I mean, it wasn't that she was like, this isn't really my thing. She was kind of judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally took her home in the middle of Her Flyaway Manor. And then came back and forgot. Yeah, I'm like, this isn't gonna work. I would like to enjoy this concert.
Yeah.
So
if you're getting judgy now,
just wait. Like,
you need to get out
yet. Yeah.
Right.
So
wow.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
And I would like to enjoy my evening, and frankly, that's more important than this.
Did you take her home under the auspices that you were also not going to go back?
No. I just told her, I'm like, you are not enjoying this, and I'm like, I don't want to be like, this is just not working.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you home, and she was like grateful.
Okay.
She didn't care. She wanted to she didn't want to be there.
I thought you were like maybe playing it like, oh yeah, this really sucks. Let's get out of here.
No. I was 100% like, I'm fully intend on, like, I'm into this and I fully intend on enjoying it. You're fully intent on not enjoying it. No, neither of us want to deal with this. Why don't I just take you home?
Yeah.
And she went, great.
Yep. That show reminds me of another. I mean, it was before I got sober, but it was at a time, and this made, I don't, who cares? It was Sunny Day Real Estate at Knickerbockers in, I think, the year 2000. So I was not.
Are they local? I don't know that name.
No, they're a pretty well-known band. I would say they are, like, when my students talk about emo music or emo bands, and they list bands that are not emo at all, I say, listen, you need to listen to Sunny Day Real Estate, because in my opinion, they are emo. They are the quintessential emo band, and they've earned that title, and everybody after them are fakers. But
who do your students think are emo that are not?
Well, they
emo?
say things like Green Day and
not emo.
Like, no.
Okay,
or like,
all right. Well, the kids, whatever, they, the folly of youth.
Yeah. So I make them listen to like At the Drive-In and Sunny Day Real Estate. So Sunny Day Real Estate, their album Diary was huge. And then they put out another one after that called, Rise something. Oh God, Rising Tide. That's what it was. So it was on that tour, and I had liked Diary here and there, but I was hanging out with this dude that was a real into them. So we went to Knickerbockers to see them play. And I had like this overwhelming, like, emotional, just, I don't know. It was maybe what you had with Fugazi at the State Fairgrounds, but it was like, I was like, yeah, I needed to just run into somebody. You know what I mean?
Sure,
it was like, and it was that show.
It.
I mean,
right.
And it was like,
when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Kind of. That was exactly what, I mean, that show really, really blew me away. And I will never forget that show, because it was, Knickerbockers, it was small, and it was just like,
I saw some great shows at Knickerbockers.
Yeah. But I saw mostly like local bands. Like I saw, they'd have like 5 bands on the bill.
Fishbone at Knickerbockers.
That's a different deal.
Yeah, it was great.
So yeah, that was a pretty pretty intense surprise too. I wasn't really prepared for the heaviosity of that. You
Did
know,
it achieved heaviosity?
it did. It did achieve heaviosity.
You know,
What's up?
huh?
Go ahead.
Well, I had an ADD moment. I went to because I was kind of thinking about that P-Funk thing, as I do periodically. Brain just skipped a gear, but you for those of you, some of you, when I say the Greek Theater in Berkeley, California, and go, yep, and other people are gonna go, okay, whatever. But the Greek Theater, especially for fans of certain bands, Deadheads, I'm looking in your general direction. The Greek Theater in Berkeley, California is a revered venue for a variety of reasons. It's in Berkeley, which is, I mean, there's some history there. And it's also just an amazing venue because there isn't a bad seat in the house. It's, I don't know, 5,000 people maybe.
Yeah.
It's this old, like like a Greek style theater. And if you're up high enough in the stands, you see the entire Bay Area behind that.
Yeah.
Like San Francisco. And it's really just incredible. And I may be exaggerating a little bit, but the view is spectacular. Right. And it's just in this really unique and powerful in its own way place in the country. It's very, it's just one of those places. And I never, so you guys know, Joel, you especially know that one of my other true loves is the Talking Heads. Oh, yeah. And I grew up on them. I mean, starting in junior high for me, Remaining Light and Speaking in Tongues and all of those records. And so David Byrne played like a solo show at the Greek Theater, and we got tickets and we're very excited. And it was just him. And so like how Stop Making Sense starts, where just Byrne walks out with the boom box. Yeah. And then they gradually kind of assemble the band behind it. It gets bigger as it goes on, Yeah. Oh, yeah. So and the ticket just said David Byrne, an evening with David Byrne. Right. So it's just, there's like this velvet, big, like a velvet curtain, this huge velvet curtain, and some lights and the PA and a microphone, So David Byrne comes out and he opened up with, Nothing But Flowers, I think. Just a solo, and he did the boombox thing, just so this little drum beat and and he did like Heaven and I think Psycho Killer and
all solo.
Yeah, just him and a guitar. And after like 6 or 7 songs of this, we're like, it's just David Byrne solo, and it was great, Yeah. And then that velvet curtain dropped. And behind it was a full band, horn section, drums, and they went into Mr. Jones from Naked. So horn blast, Mr. Jones, and the lights and everything, and it was just like he almost lulled you to sleep there. Almost, you're like, oh, just then that was done intentionally.
Totally,
it was done just long enough to have everybody go, well, I guess it's just David Byrne. Yeah. And then as soon as everybody had that shift, he nails us. Oh, that's so that was like, just in terms of concert moments. That's like a big one. Yeah. Like that was the coolest theatrical thing. Cause it just hit it just right in your face. Everything just went to 11 right away. And that band had to have been, because the Greek is kind of open. So that band had been back there for minimum 90 minutes.
Right. Wait, after house opened, it's like, you guys got to just hang out back there.
Yeah, you're just sitting
we're going to put you behind the curtain.
Yep.
Dude.
Because there was no adornments other than the curtain, which was beautiful and kind of amazing in and of itself. But like, then it just fell.
And people must have just lost their shit, though.
I lost my shit. It was the coolest thing. And my buddy that I was with, Brett, we actually met at military school and we bonded over the Talking Heads. Like that was one of, you like that? Oh, okay. Best friends, Yep. So it was a big deal to be there for us, Yeah. Right. And it was like, as amazing as it was, we kind of had this moment of like, of course he did that. Yeah. Like that was exactly
classic
Byrne.
Yeah. I mean, his theatricality and his ability to turn a concert, quote unquote, into a theatrical event. I mean,
amazing.
Amazing.
danceable theatric event.
Right. It makes me think too of like when you mention acts or artists that you've seen or have like grew up on and saw later on. A big one for me was the Lemonheads they did another tour, and I'm sure it was, I mean, it wasn't the original lineup. It was just like Evan Dando needed to kind of make some money. It was like maybe the 20th anniversary of their album.
That's what it was. I remember that.
Yeah, of It's a Shame About Ray, and they played It's a Shame About Ray in its entirety. But that record, that album, was so huge for me when I was in junior high. It was like nobody else really listened to the Lemonheads. Like everybody's listening to Pearl Jam, Nirvana. I love Pearl Jam still, but Nirvana and all the bands, but like nobody really got into the Lemonheads, because when I discovered when they were kind of popular on MTV, I bought that CD or bought that tape and played it over and over.
That whole thing.
And then I realized that they had albums before that, and I started listening to those albums. And so I was a huge Lemonheads guy. And when they played that, I was like, oh, I'm going to go. And it was at the Waiting Room in Omaha. And I was like,
I remember when you went to that. Yeah.
I was like, there's Evan Dando. Like I talked to him before. I mean, my 12-year-old, 13-year-old self was losing his mind.
Right.
And they played the album, and it was incredible and very nostalgic and wonderful. And then they had some extra time, so they played some other songs. Sure. And he's like, I'm going to play one. I rarely play this one, and he plays it. And it's funny, I can't even remember the name of it now, but he's like points to who anybody can tell what album that's from. And I was like, Creator. And he looked me right in the eye. And then he played one more song. And then he like bent over, handed me the set list, handed me a pick, gave me a handshake. I was like, my 13-year-old self was like,
blown away.
Could die. So it was like not a huge, it wasn't even that great. It was just that moment was so incredible.
So very similar experience for you that I went along with was seeing Mike Doty at the Waiting Room playing, what was that record? The Soul Coughing record.
Ruby Vroom.
That was so great. I didn't know. I had seen Mike Doty solo with you once before.
Yeah. And frankly, that show that we went to, he was only playing his stuff, which is, I love his original, his solo stuff is amazing. I love him as an artist, but he was kind of at that time really anti playing anything soul coughing.
I remember you talking about that.
And it was like,
I'm going to do my thing because soul coughing is in the past, and that's not something we're going to revisit.
He would even say that, and he would get really ticked off for anybody. Like that was, I think in that show, he was doing a question jar, and you could put questions in it or recommend or, request songs. And I put something in there and was a soul coughing reference. And I think he tore it up, he wanted nothing to do with it. But I'm like, dude, we are here for your solo stuff, but could you play,
He's like, no.
Yeah. He never did it.
Right.
But then he kind of realized, I could probably
make some money
rearranging these songs that none of the other band members are going to do. Anyway, sorry, I totally interrupted.
Well, anyway, that was like, I knew him by name and I'd seen him solo once and I enjoyed it. And so I wanted to go check out this Ruby Vroom business.
Yep.
And that was awesome.
Yes.
That was such a bizarrely joyful, funky word music evening.
Yeah.
His band was amazing. He appeared to be genuinely having a good time, kind of revisiting this stuff in a different way.
Yep.
And also introduced me to, I got to give a shout out to Madden Class, his drummer that evening.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Madden at the time was 19. She's from New York.
He kept calling her little Pepper. Right?
Yeah. Well, follow Madden Class on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because she's amazing. She's like 24 now.
Right.
And she's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she has this band she's in a band called Space Junk is Forever. Also amazing, just weird instrumental,
So Mike Doty also has, the guy that was playing the upright bass that
guy was great.
Andrew Scrap Livingston. He's played with Mike a lot, but Mike and Scrap, they started a little outfit over the pandemic times.
Oh, really?
Called Ghost of Vroom.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's really good. It's really good.
Check it out.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's really good.
That guy, the multi-instrumentalist guy, what's his name? Scrap?
Yeah, his name is Andrew Livingston, but he's known as Scrap.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because he kind of looked like he might have some ongoing health issues.
Yeah, he has a cane. He's got some degenerative stuff in his leg.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he laid it down, that's for sure,
dude. Yeah, and that was such a great show, and he put the right band together for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It was amazing.
And he's kind of
walking into it with no preconceptions of what it should sound like or anything. Right. I had a great time. Chicago is not Chicago.
Chicago is not Chicago.
That was so amazing. I had never heard. I'd never heard anything like that.
Yeah. It's like
it felt like New York to me.
Yeah. Well, all that soul coughing stuff. That's all of him, being a junkie in New York, really.
Yeah.
And he's got a book called The Book of Drugs about him kicking heroin, and it's an incredible book. I highly recommend it.
I need to put that on my list.
But he talks a lot about why he's got some old stuff with the guys from Soul Coughing, because they, according to his version of things, they were really shitty to him and didn't really count him as a viable musician, and just sort of said, hey, you're the kind of hip hop writer guy. Go out there and say the words. We're the real musicians. Don't ever think you're gonna, and he's reclaimed all of that music and rearranged it in better ways. Like it's just like he's stood the test of time, I think.
Sure.
I'm going to tag him in the post for this, and maybe he'll respond and want to be on our podcast.
That would be amazing. I would love to, love to talk to that guy.
Yeah. I love that you dig that. You dug that too, because it's always
that was my, because there's a part of me that really just wants to listen to Bon Scott era AC/DC and be good with it.
Right.
Rock and roll damnation all night long, man. That's all I really need ever. Like, seriously. If I could just listen to Power Age for the rest of my life, I'd probably be okay.
Yeah.
But I like Miles Davis. Give me, Train. I love bebop, jazz. I love swing. I love, I'll listen to classical music, but that was something that was completely different for me. I'd never been exposed to that kind of vibe directly before. It was something I saw on movie soundtracks.
Right.
Yeah. And just to be there and have it happen live, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah. And they really, that was the cool thing about them playing that album in its entirety, is that they did it. Like they played it. And that's an album it's so, I don't know, for me, frozen in time and sort of singular for that time frame.
Sure.
But they were able to really achieve it and kind of make it new again. I can't wait to share some Ruby Vroom out there.
I would love to have a good live recording of that tour, like a soundboard recording. If he hasn't released that, he should, because I would love to listen to that again. I found some YouTube clips from the tour, not from the show we were at, but they were all, it was great.
That would be cool.
So I got to give a shout out to Dweezil Zappa.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'll never forget. Well, I don't really remember, but my memory is that I was at home in Northern Virginia in 1989, probably, senior year of high school. And my friend Jeff that I worked with called me up and said, you need to come over to my house right now. I'm like, okay. And he was all excited because he wanted to play Joe's Garage for me.
Oh yeah.
And that was my introduction to the world of Frank Zappa.
Right.
And we spent the next 2 hours just giggling and snorting and thinking, like, how does this exist?
How did this get made?
Right. Like how, like
who said this was okay? Who gave the thumbs up to this?
And Frank was still alive then. And if he was like, I did it, dude. I did all of it. I said it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that kind of started, I could talk a whole podcast or more about Frank Zappa, and everybody should watch the Frank Zappa documentary. Is what I'm being told. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I'm like halfway through it. I had to pause it the other day and I need to finish it, but I would love to go back in time and see him as a nightly, him and the Mothers of Invention as a nightly performance art piece in New York.
Yeah.
Like they just did that every night. And I'm like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
And he found a way over the next 30 years to maintain his independence on virtually every level and to put together working bands that made enough money so they could put together another working band and make an album on his terms in his studio. And he put out 60 friggin' albums.
It's insane.
You know, and
it's wild.
everything from the most avant-garde, dissonant, impossible to play by human beings music to 50s doo-wop stuff, because he loved that too, you know.
Yeah.
And Frank could be a little misogynistic at times.
Yeah,
He didn't always portray women in the best light, and so he does take some hits for that.
Sure.
But he also never tried to pretend that he was anything other than he was,
Right.
which there's a lot of people out there that can't say that on that
That's
level.
True. That's true.
So like he was unabashedly himself at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's that. At least he wasn't a fucking charlatan.
That's true. That's very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so his son Dweezil, who most people, Dweezil and Moon Unit, he and Frank Zappa had the kids with weird names. Yeah, right. that he had children with unorthodox names. That is correct. Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Most people would associate Dweezil probably with something resembling Pauly Shore type antics.
Yeah, he was like a VJ for a while.
He was a VJ on MTV, and but Dweezil is quite an impressive man, and he decided a number of years ago, 2006, 2007 by now, that he was going to he was a fine guitar player in his own right, but he would shedded Frank's material. Yeah. And Frank Zappa was a very unique guitar player for sure.
Composer.
And he was a composer first and foremost.
Yeah.
And band leader. And but Dweezil put together a band called Zappa Plays Zappa, and he went out to go play his old man's music as a tribute and as a way to make a living, you know. But I mean, he wasn't playing big stadiums, you know. But I've seen Dweezil a half a dozen times at least over the last since then.
I got to see him with you that one time, and that turned
was that at the Horseshoe?
Yeah, it was at the Horseshoe.
Yeah,
and that turned a corner for me with that music. It was like it's one thing to kind of hear it and like you said, giggle and laugh about it, but to hear it played and to have that, even the Zappa Plays Zappa folks were very theatrical. And the characters,
because they all love it.
That. Yeah. You can clearly see that they love
when
it.
Sheila Gonzalez puts the balloons in her t-shirt to do wet t-shirt contest. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
She's down.
Yeah. She's down.
And she's been with them every time I've seen them,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But that band is amazing. And the level of commitment to a catalog that is at best difficult on every level. And also very fun and humorous and moving and emotional. I remember, our friend Matt up in Omaha. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
I'm kissing you on your bald head right now.
Nice.
I took Matt to go see him at the theater in the Joslin Art Museum.
Oh yeah. And, I saw Bright Eyes there. Different deal.
Yeah, but Matt was like, well, what should I expect? I'm like, just come, and it was great. And at the end of the night, they closed with I think it was Watermelon and Easter Hay from Joe's Garage with the refrain of the mother yelling in the back. He used to be such a nice boy.
Yeah.
He used to cut the grass. He used to be such a nice boy. He used to cut the grass. And there's just this atonal music, ethereal happening. And and Matt led the standing ovation.
Oh, nice.
Like he just stood up and started clapping, and soon, and we all just stood up and started clapping because it was amazing. And so anyway, I just thought, like, as far as like people that are it's not original music, although Dweezil's put out a couple original albums in terms of honoring a legacy in a way that is current. It's not like it is it's kind of a nostalgia thing because the music is in some cases 50 years old. Right. But it's played today. It ain't the Beach Boys singing Help Me Rhonda.
Right.
It's a very dynamic.
Didn't you go to like a master class guitar class? I got to meet with
Dweezil.
him.
I paid $50.
Yeah.
An hour and a half before showtime. Me and like 10 other guys he left sound check, brought his guitar, and they had set up kind of in the mezzanine an amp and a bunch of chairs. And we just got ostensibly it was a guitar lesson.
Sure.
But really what it was just a conversation with Dweezil. And he was so incredibly gracious and cool and interested in us. Like he asked us each, like, why are you here? Like, what's your deal?
Cool.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Like,
because
yeah, that-
I mean, he's playing his dad's music. Like, tell me what your connection is.
yeah,
to
yeah,
this music.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, and it was great. We hung out for an hour. And then and he showed us a couple things like, here's how I kind of people ask, do you have any questions? Like how I do the thing or whatever, or how Frank did the thing. He always calls his dad Frank, which I think is kind of funny. But but then later that it might have been the next day, like his wife emailed out this zip file full of PDFs and charts and
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. Well worth the $50 just that in and of itself.
Yeah. Right.
All kind of handwritten some and it's just really awesome. But I mean, he signed, you know, in fact, I didn't really want to like bother him about signing my guitar, you know, and I was kind of putting it away. And he walked up to me. He's like, hey, did you like want me to sign your guitar? And I was like, I would love it if you signed my guitar.
Yeah, please. I didn't want to ask.
I did. Yeah, right. Because it was just, I didn't want to ruin the moment, you know?
Yeah, right.
Because I was content, you know? That was a really awesome experience.
Yeah, dude. It makes me think too, and I'm shifting gears a little bit, but you said, you know, nostalgic music, but played now. It makes me think of Joe Russo's Almost Dead and the show that
everybody just needs to drop what they're doing this summer, quit your job, go see Joe Russo's Almost Dead.
Yeah. If
you're many times as you can.
Even if you don't really love Grateful Dead,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter really.
Never
because
mattered.
It's like,
there's a pretty universal theme among people like, well, I don't like the Grateful Dead is that they've never been to a Grateful Dead concert.
Well, that was crazy because when we went and saw them right after, I mean, I saw Pearl Jam and Lincoln with my brother.
We saw them like I was, and then the next day.
And then the next day we're like, yeah, let's go to Colorado and see J-Rad 2 nights, one in Boulder and one in Denver.
Yeah.
And
that was ridiculous.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
Insane.
I go back and listen to that audio and I'm just
amazing.
blown.
It's amazing.
Terrapin, it's amazing.
They play the full thing.
And that was not long after the ban on recreational cannabis was lifted in the great state of Colorado. And you and I don't partake, but we might as well have.
Oh my God. Meat patty sandwich, dude.
We were in a hot box of really kind.
Yeah, the Ogden Theater in Denver is not that big.
Not that big.
And it was packed full of people that were all, it's like, you know, you hear stories like, man, I went and saw Tom Petty and there was lots of people smoking marijuana. This was not that.
This was not that.
This was like, cut it with a knife.
This was being at a VFW meeting in 1955. It's just like clouds of smoke, right? Like, it was just like, you know, and we walked out of there and we're like,
I haven't been that lit maybe ever. I don't
know
because the concert and everything else that was going on, but sitting in that diner in downtown Denver at 1:00 in the morning,
all we could think of was we needed food, and I knew there was a diner like 2 blocks away, and we walked in there.
The stereotypical all night diner.
Yep.
And the waitress, that poor waitress, is just looking at us like, are you guys going to stop giggling long enough to order or not? Because frankly, I got other tables.
Well, the funniest thing on the menu was meat patty sandwich.
Meat patty sandwich
20 times. And then we all got a meat patty sandwich.
And it was amazing.
It really was. It was covered with mashed potatoes and gravy and bread. And it's
pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but that's a whole like that. That's, I think, just a good enough story to tell real quick. So we got to wrap it up. But I mean, the whole deal with that was Joe Russo. He's a drummer and he plays, he had a Marco Benevento, and I'm saying his name wrong. I can never.
No, you got it. That's
Benevento.
Right.
Yeah. They had this duo thing where Joe would play the drums and Marco would play keyboards, and they did like the, you know, hippie concert circuit or whatever. And really cool music. And then they were both New York guys, and Joe had this band in New York. Those two guys had a band called Bustle in Your Hedgerow, and they played instrumental covers of Led Zeppelin songs,
which were unbelievable.
Yeah, really awesome. And at this place called the Brooklyn Bowl, which is kind of like the Ranch Bowl, which Holly and I talked about. Holly talked about last week.
Oh yeah.
But so then the Ranch Bowl had, and so that was Scotty Metzger, Joe Roos on guitar, Dave Drywitz from Ween, Drewitz on bass from Ween, Joey Roos on drums, and Benevento on keyboards. And so then on Halloween, the Brooklyn Bowl would do like a fundraiser deal. And And Joe had been playing drums with Phil Lesh and Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead and Further.
So how did I maybe we don't have time for this, but I'm curious to know how that
happened.
How he got into Further.
I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Further was this weird anomaly that kind of came out of nowhere.
It's really
like
great though.
They really, Bob and Phil were just like, we want to go play the songs.
Yeah.
Let's go play the songs.
Yeah.
Not as the fucking Dead or whatever, Dead and you know, that whole machine. Yeah. Let's just go play. And they called up, John Kay from Dark Star Orchestra, who had been playing Jerry Garcia for the last 20 years, you know, and grabbed Joe Russo on drums and hit the road.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jeff Clementi on keyboards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was amazing. So anyway, like, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of a stigma about the Grateful Dead, if you can imagine. And so I think at the Brooklyn Bowl, they're talking about doing this concert, and they're trying to come up with like a costume, like what's the shtick gonna be. And somebody said, and like kind of giving Joe Russo some shit, like, well, you're the Grateful Dead guy. Why don't you play Grateful Dead? And he went, okay. And so we took Bustle in a Hedgerow and then added Tommy Hamilton on guitar from American Babies, who's insanely good.
That guy's insane.
He's insane.
And his band Ghostlight is insane. That guy is insane.
Huge shout out to Ghostlight. Oh my God. Yeah. But so anyway, I mean, the story behind that is they played that one show, like Halloween. They threw together the band. They learned some tunes and it hit YouTube. And
that's right. I remember you sent me a video. You were like, you got to see this.
Yeah, we just like
because you were already sending me Bustle in the Hedgerow stuff.
Yeah,
like you got to see.
I've been following Joe Russo because of Further and Bustle and and everybody just went batshit crazy. It was like, why is this not on tour right now? Like, if you guys tour, we will come.
Yeah.
And so the shows that we went to in Denver and Boulder was that.
Yeah.
Was that like you're coming? We're going. I'll see you in Boulder, baby. It was ridiculous. They're still touring.
If you get a chance to see them,
go see Joe Russo's Almost Dead. Go see Ghostlight.
Yeah, go see Ghostlight. We saw them after the Dead and Company shows.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know if I can see another show. And like 2 seconds into that venue, I was boogieing.
Yeah. Amazing.
They were great.
Yeah, they were great.
Well, this is getting me really excited to go see concerts again, man.
Really? I mean, I don't know. I kind of felt like that was just kind of that part's done.
What sucks is that all these tours, man, are like happening they're like, we're going to push it off to the fall. I'm like, that's when school starts. I want to go on tour, but you know, I'll find some shows to see. You got a show.
I do.
Exile on O Street's got a show.
Oh yeah. The Exile on O Street. I was trying to think what I was doing.
You're in a band, aren't you?
I am in a band. Exile on Rose Street is Nebraska's premier Rolling Stones tribute band.
Yeah, dude.
And we're playing at the Keg in Lincoln, Nebraska on July 3rd.
Nice.
So come and get your yayas out. It's going to be great.
July 3rd. So go see the fireworks and then go get your yayas out at the Keg.
Fucking A.
That's it. That's exactly. That was great. Fucking A, man.
Fucking A, man. We're going to tear it up. It's going to be awesome. This band is legit fun. It's great.
40 song set list.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to make it to that because we've only practiced like 3 times. But it doesn't matter. It's, you know, it's only rock and roll, but I do like it. So
if you play Tumbling Dice, I'll be satisfied.
We will play Tumbling Dice.
Okay.
It'll be good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You can even come up and sing background vocals. You got to roll me.
Don't tempt me.
I won't kick you off the stage.
Oh, I would love that. I'll bring a sequin dress just in case.
Oh God, that'd be great. Can you be Tina Turner?
I can.
Oh, great.
And I won't shave. It'll be great.
Even better.
I'll have the hair though for it, man.
Yeah.
My hair is getting out of hand. Wow. I love
this has been fun.
See, the reason this was a slam dunk topic, Steve, is because I know that like you and I can just yammer on about concert stories. There's so much more. Like we didn't even talk about fuck lasers at Pearl Jam Wrigley in 2013. We didn't even talk about fuck lasers.
You know what's funny is I told that story today. When a guy I work with was like, I mentioned Chicago. He's like, hey, do you know the town? Because he was thinking about taking his family there on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, go. So I told him about Wrigley and fuck lasers.
Essentially, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version, everybody, because we can't say fuck lasers and not follow it up with the story. So we pile in a car to go to see Pearl Jam at Wrigley Field in 2013.
Yeah,
Not the one that they did in 2016 that made the, Let's Play 2 film, but this was the one that got rained out, and there was all sorts of like lightning.
Oh my God.
All
It didn't get rained out. It got rain delayed.
It got rain delayed. Bjork got rained out. Fish got rained out that same night, but Pearl Jam stayed true. And we walked into the venue at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. We didn't leave until like 1:30 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, we didn't get back to the hotel until 3, the hostel.
So during the rain delay, what are you going to do at Wrigley Field besides drink old style? Except for us, we just sat underneath the awning, which was great. I was like, that was when I was smart. I was firing up grits. I was just sitting in Wrigley Field, just smoking a pack of cigarettes. Like, it was great.
It was great. It was like, it turned from like, went from concert to just party.
Yeah, it turned into a party. And then the old style, I think, was flowing a little too much because people were walking up towards the upper deck. We were on the second or the main level, but underneath the upper deck.
Underneath the deck, yeah.
And there's those ramps that kind of wind up to the next level. Yep. And there was some traffic there. And there was a man who...
Well, I noticed like there was a disturbance. There's something, what is going on? And
I hear people yelling. I hear like, what the hell? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And girls screaming. And Colin, my brother, and I look over, and there's a drunk gentleman. And I really hope maybe we find this person.
I would love
a drunk gentleman who couldn't hold his urine.
Or his t-shirt, apparently, because all he had on was jean shorts,
and decided to relieve himself on the concert goers below him. Now, it's funny to us, but if that had been me below him,
it would have been bad.
That would have been ruined my...
Let's just say, get to the fuck lasers.
Okay, so people are yelling at him. They finally get security up to him. He's buttoned up by this point. They start dragging him down the ramp to kick him out of the venue. And this is not going to read well on a podcast, but he is, okay, so everybody at home do the double bird.
Yeah. Right? Raise both your middle fingers.
Yeah, you got the double bird out. Yeah. Now flip it over like
so that your palm is facing to the ground.
Yeah, like a laser cannon.
Yeah, and then start going pew pew. Because
he was just like shooting and fuck lasers at everybody. Like, how dare you? How dare you?
And fuck you. And fuck you. And as he's getting dragged by the cops.
And to this day, whenever we tell that story, it's so funny. This is genuine laughter because
it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Just drunk and just like I think he really believed he was shooting bolts of energy out of his middle finger. Fuck lasers.
He was.
I think he was.
Because we're still talking about it 8 years later.
Oh my God. It was the best thing ever. I hope that really he sobered up the next day and is in the drunk take and has to read the report.
Yeah.
And I like,
if that report does have fuck lasers.
Yeah. Fuck laser. Gentleman was shooting fuck lasers on the way down from the Wrigley ramp.
All I know is it's better that the cops got him before the crowd did.
Dude, that's real.
Because he would have gotten torn to shreds.
And yeah, dude, that's why it's so... I mean, it's funny to us as observers because I was just over there sucking down a Marlboro laughing.
That's hilarious.
But
not the burn.
If I'd have been underneath that urine stream, yeah. So and then like 2.5 hours later, the weather cleared. Pearl Jam came back on. It was an epic show.
That was such an epic thing because I mean, Fish folded, Bjork folded. And I think it's just because Eddie Vedder is such a huge Cubs fan and such a Chicago fan in general. Because what it takes to get union, MTA employees, to stay an extra 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Because we didn't get. I mean, everything got delayed 2.5 hours.
They had the mayor on their side.
They did.
But, you know,
that was an amazing. That in and of itself. I mean, after 2 hours, people were starting to get like, look, we got babysitters. Like I gotta go to work. Like what's happening here?
Right.
And their road manager got on Twitter and said, everybody hang loose.
Yeah.
Just stay. Stay. We got one more cell coming through. And as soon as that thing, we're pulling the covers off and we're doing the show. So
we kept checking the Twitter because they kept saying, it's all going to be good. I mean, Ed came out once and was like, hey, there's one cell came through. We're going to hunker down.
And it was serious. Like those cells were no joke.
No,
it was dangerous stuff. And I thought when they let people back in here, because they had to clear the field.
Yeah.
When they let people back in, it's going to look like the end of a Stephen King novel. Like it is going to be ugly. People have been drinking for 2 hours. It's going to be this mad rush, you know?
Yeah.
And it was remarkably civil.
Yep.
And the concert was amazing. I mean,
you have to give a shout out to like all those folks on the floor were all Pearl Jam 10 Club fans. Those aren't just
hardcore.
Like rich people. I mean, some of them probably maybe figured that out, but all of those tickets went to Pearl Jam fan club people, and they're all like, yeah. I mean, they're drunk, but they're like, yeah, okay, it's cool. Like it has a similar vibe to, you know, Dead fans, and that they take care of each other. You know, when the going gets rough, they take care of each other.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I was at that one and not at the one for Let's Play 2, even though that was awesome. That whole night. I mean, I still remember.
We'll never ever forget that.
No, I will never forget the way the floor of that Dunkin' Donuts looked at 3 in the morning or whatever.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. We should just do a podcast on that trip, because I'm in a place where I don't care about any of this.
Oh my god. Steve at the Natural History Museum.
Well, yeah, so I got like 3 hours of sleep that night, and the next day we were out running. Hi, Adam and Colin, and we're out running around Millennium
Adam
Park.
Hintz, Space President Adam Hintz, and my brother Colin.
Yeah, we need to get Colin on here, and Adam. But we're out running around Millennium Park, and I'm exhausted, but I'm kind of hanging because I like that area.
I'm gonna butt in. You had tons of energy. You were exhausted, but you had tons of energy because we were gonna get a bunch of trash food.
Yeah,
right. You were gonna get Italian beef.
Yeah,
and
Vienna beef.
Yeah,
Vienna beef.
We got Vienna beef.
Yeah, in this little hole in the wall thing, and I ate 40 pounds of it.
Yes,
and then my digestive system took issue with that.
Gave the fuck lasers.
My digestive system gave me the fuck lasers.
So we get there, all 4 of us.
So I have to. So the nearest bathroom is literally the Museum of Natural History.
Yeah.
I literally paid like
Field Museum.
No, because that's the one by Soldier Field. Whatever. Like I'm literally like race walking to the nearest place that might have a bathroom, which is this museum, and they're like, it's $24 to get in. I'm like, here's 25, keep the change. I'm going to find the nearest bathroom I can and destroy it.
Yeah.
And then I come out and I'm like, I'm feeling a little better. But then like something
the first thing we did, we bought tickets to this documentary film.
Yeah.
And we're watching that, and like all the while Colin and Adam and I are looking at maps in the museum, like, oh, there's where the dinosaurs are, there's where this is, that where the fossils are over here.
Yeah.
And we get out of the thing. I mean, we're all a little tired. We get to the big rotunda and we're like, okay, we're breaking up, who's going to where? And Adam really wanted to go to the dinosaurs and all this stuff. And Steve just is like, well, I'm at a point where I don't give a fuck about any of this right now, so I'm going back to the hostel, and just turns around and walks off. And we're like, bye, Steve. Have fun. We're
like, I think there was a part of me that like, they're going to try and get me to stay, and I don't want to stay. I want to go to sleep. That's what I want to do. I want to stop by the Trader Joe's by the MTA stop, and get some fruit juice and drink it while I'm on the train on the way to the hostel, so I can go to sleep.
He had a whole plan. And
I did have a plan.
So we do the whole natural, and by the time we get back to the hostel, we're exhausted. Steve's had a juice box and a nap, and we walk up to the Chicago Getaway Hostel, and Steve is playing, Tangled Up in Blue on the stoop, just like, hey guys, what's going on?
I'm playing a guitar.
Yeah, I think we have that photo somewhere.
I literally, like, right before you guys got there, I had 3 dude bros walk by and go, real cool, man. Like, fucking loser. Like, fuck you, ass
fuck
face.
You, man. Fuck you, man.
It was a real Dylan-esque moment, actually. Yeah, I was really just kind of like, really?
Yeah, really?
Like, that was, oh, what? Of course you said that. Fuck you.
Yes. So what? Let there be songs, bitch.
Right. And then we went and got pizza. No, we had pizza delivered.
We did have, oh my God.
And then we went to Intelligentsia and a record store.
Wow. What a trip.
It was amazing. Rock and roll, man.
Well, everybody.
Oh, and by the way, if you're ever in Chicago, stay at the Chicago Getaway Hostel.
Definitely stay at the Chicago Getaway Hostel. It's super great and a really great location. And you can stay. It's not like a nasty hostel. I mean, there's some communal rooms, which aren't bad, and you can get private rooms too. It's great.
It's great.
Get out there on the road, everybody. Make some
memories. Go see something.
Go see some shows, even if it's just Exile on O Street on July 3rd at the.
We're gonna tear it up, man. It'll be a great time,
dude. I might sing backup. I'm definitely gonna do. I bet you. I wonder if my Jagger impression would rival Eric's. That's what I want to know.
I don't think we're gonna have I was gonna say a Jagger off. I don't think that'll happen. But you can do it on the you can do it on the dance floor.
We might Jagger off, you know.
Well,
toot your hooter, everybody.
I think we're out of time.
Oh, and that sounds mean. We're out of time. Toot your hooter, everybody. Go see a show. Go see a concert. Go see a band you've never seen before.
Support local arts.
Yeah, there's like comedy coming back.
Yep.
Go see some comedy at the Zoo Bar. Go see some local stuff. Just get out there and celebrate the arts, man. I'm excited. It's the summer of music, hopefully. All
right, man. That was fun. Good to see you.
See ya.
Bye.
Well, the John was jumping, going round and round. A head reeling and a rocking. What a crazy sound. And Lord, they never stopped rocking till the moon went down. Well, it sounds so sweet, I had to take me a chance. I rose out of my seat, Lord, I had to dance. I started moving my feet, Lord, clapping my hands. Lord, I kept on dancing, going round and round. Head feeling and rocking, what a crazy sound. Lord, I never stopped rocking till the moon went down. It went down. Sounds so sweet, I had to take me a chance. I rose out of my seat, oh Lord, I had to dance. I started moving my feet, I was clapping my hands. Oh Lord, I kept on dancing, going round and round. Hey, reading and rocking, what a crazy sound. Lord, I kept on dancing till the moon went down, down. At 12 o'clock, although the place was packed, the front door was locked. Ah, the place was packed. When the police knocked, ah, the doors flew back. Although they kept on dancing, going round and round. Hey, reeling and rocking, what a crazy sound. Although they never stopped rocking, till the moon went down, down. We're going to take a 10-minute equipment malfunction break, and we'll be back in just a minute.